Imagine that tomorrow morning you wake up and discover that every financial problem you've ever had has disappeared. Your bank account is overflowing with money. Your dream house is waiting for you. Every vacation you've ever imagined is already booked, and you never have to work another day in your life unless you choose to. For a moment, it feels like you've finally won the game. But then, just a few minutes later, another message arrives. It tells you that you have only 1 year left to live. Suddenly, every expensive possession becomes meaningless. The luxury car in the driveway is just a machine. The giant house is simply a building. The money you've spent your entire life chasing can't buy even a single extra day. In that moment, your priorities change instantly. You stop thinking about what you own and start thinking about who you love. You stop worrying about your career and begin wondering whether you've actually lived. And that raises one of the most uncomfortable questions any of us can ask ourselves. If knowing that your time is limited would completely change the way you live, then why are you waiting for bad news before you start living differently? Why do so many people postpone happiness, postpone dreams, postpone relationships, and postpone life itself, as if tomorrow is guaranteed? The truth is that most people aren't really living. They're simply existing. They wake up because the alarm tells them to, go to work because the bills demand it, stare at screens because it's easier than thinking, and repeat the exact same routine day after day, month after month, year after year. One day quietly blends into the next until decades disappear without anyone noticing. They become so busy preparing for the future that they forget the future is built from the days they're currently wasting. Many people believe that life will finally begin after the next promotion, after buying a bigger house, after earning more money, after finding the perfect partner, or after retirement. But life doesn't suddenly begin someday in the future. Life is happening right now, in this very moment, whether you're paying attention or not. Every ordinary morning, every conversation, every challenge, every opportunity, and every small decision is slowly becoming the story of your life. The greatest tragedy isn't dying too soon. It's reaching the end of life only to realize you never truly lived while you had the chance. Living with intention means refusing to let your days pass on autopilot. It means choosing your direction instead of drifting wherever circumstances push you. It means understanding that purpose isn't something hidden somewhere in the future waiting to be discovered. Purpose is created every single day through the choices you make, the habits you build, the people you help, and the values you refuse to compromise. A meaningful life isn't built through dramatic moments that happen once in a lifetime. It's built quietly, one intentional decision after another. Throughout this audiobook, you'll discover practical ideas and timeless principles that can completely transform the way you think about success, happiness, purpose, relationships, health, and the limited time each of us has. Some of these lessons may challenge beliefs you've held for years. Others may remind you of truths you've always known but somehow forgotten in the rush of everyday life. By the time you reach the final chapter, you may find yourself looking at your own life through an entirely different lens, not because someone gave you magical answers, but because you learned to ask better questions. So, wherever you are right now, whether you're driving, walking, relaxing at home, or simply searching for a little more clarity in life, take a deep breath. Set aside every distraction for a while and allow yourself to fully enter this journey. This is Live with Intention, and it might just change the way you choose to spend every day that follows. Chapter 1: The Invisible Autopilot. Take a moment and think about your day before today. Not the highlights or the biggest events, just the ordinary moments. What time did you wake up? What was the first thing you reached for? How many minutes passed before you looked at your phone? How many decisions did you actually make for yourself? And how many were simply habits repeating yesterday's pattern? Most of us like to believe we're in complete control of our lives, but the reality is far less comforting. Research in psychology suggests that a large portion of our daily behavior is driven by habits rather than conscious decisions. We repeat the same routines, follow the same thoughts, react to the same situations, and make the same choices almost automatically. In many ways, life can begin to feel like driving down a familiar road. You've traveled it so many times that you barely remember making the turns. Your hands steer the wheel without thinking, and before you realize it, you've already reached your destination. Now imagine doing that, not just for a drive, but for your entire life. This invisible autopilot is one of the greatest obstacles to living with intention because it doesn't feel dangerous. In fact, it feels comfortable. Comfortable routines require less effort. Familiar habits save mental energy. The brain naturally prefers predictability because it was designed to help us survive, not necessarily to help us grow. Thousands of years ago, repeating successful behaviors kept our ancestors alive. Today, however, that same instinct often keeps us trapped. We continue working jobs that no longer inspire us, maintain relationships that no longer help us grow, postpone dreams that matter deeply to us, and repeat routines that slowly drain our energy, all because change feels uncertain. The problem is that comfort has a hidden cost. Every day spent on autopilot is a day that quietly slips away without leaving much behind. Weeks become months, months become years, and one morning you realize that life has been moving much faster than you expected. Many people don't notice this until a major event forces them to stop. It could be the loss of a loved one, a serious illness, losing a job, or simply reaching a birthday that makes them wonder where all the time went. Suddenly they ask questions they should have been asking all along. Am I living the life I truly want? Am I becoming the person I hope to be? If nothing changes, where will I be 5 or 10 years from now? The remarkable thing is that your future isn't created by one massive decision. It's shaped by thousands of tiny ones. Every morning you either strengthen old habits or build new ones. Every conversation either deepens a relationship or weakens it. Every hour is either invested or spent. The small choices seem insignificant because their results aren't immediate. Skipping one workout doesn't make you unhealthy. Reading 10 pages doesn't make you an expert. Saving a few dollars won't make you wealthy overnight. But repeated over months and years, these tiny actions become extraordinary. Your habits quietly become your identity, and your identity ultimately becomes your life. Living with intention begins with something surprisingly simple: paying attention. Before you can change your direction, you must first notice where you're going. Instead of rushing through another day, pause and observe it. Ask yourself why you're doing what you're doing. Is this choice bringing you closer to the life you want? Or is it simply the easiest option? Are your daily actions reflecting your deepest values? Or are they just reactions to whatever demands your attention first? These questions may seem small, but they have the power to completely reshape your future. Imagine standing at the edge of a forest with two paths stretching into the distance. At first glance, they appear almost identical. The difference between them is only a few degrees. You might think that choosing either one won't matter very much. But after walking for several miles, those tiny differences become enormous. One path leads to a beautiful mountain overlooking the sunrise. The other leads deeper into a place you never intended to go. Life works exactly the same way. Small daily choices create dramatically different destinations over time. The direction you choose today matters far more than the speed at which you travel. This is why living with intention isn't about making your life perfect overnight. It isn't about becoming endlessly productive or chasing unrealistic goals. It's about waking up each day with awareness instead of drifting through it unconsciously. It's about remembering that every ordinary day is quietly becoming your extraordinary life. And once you truly understand that, you'll never look at an ordinary day the same way again. Chapter 2. Stop chasing, start choosing. One of the biggest illusions we are taught from childhood is that happiness is waiting somewhere in the future. We're told that once we get better grades, we'll be happy. Then it's getting into the right college. After that, landing the perfect job. Then buying a house, getting married, earning a higher salary, retiring early, or finally achieving that one big dream. Life becomes a never-ending series of "I'll be happy when" statements. But there's a problem with this way of thinking. Every time you reach one destination, your mind immediately creates another. The finish line keeps moving. What once felt like an impossible dream quickly becomes your new normal. And before long, you're chasing something else. This psychological phenomenon is often called the hedonic treadmill. Human beings naturally adapt to improvements in their circumstances. The excitement of a new phone fades after a few weeks. The thrill of a promotion slowly disappears. Even major achievements eventually become part of everyday life. That's why people who seem to have everything can still feel empty, while others with far less often appear genuinely content. The difference isn't what they have, it's how they choose to live. Modern society constantly encourages us to chase more money, more followers, more possessions, more status, more recognition. Advertisements quietly whisper that you're only one purchase away from becoming happier. Social media convinces you that everyone else is living a better life than you are. Every scroll exposes you to carefully edited moments that make your own life seem ordinary by comparison. Without realizing it, you begin measuring your worth against people you've never met, using standards that were never designed to make you feel satisfied. It's no wonder so many people feel like they're always behind, no matter how much they accomplish. But living with intention asks a completely different question. Instead of asking, "What else do I need?" it asks, "What truly matters?" Those two questions may sound similar, but they lead to entirely different lives. The first keeps you running forever. The second helps you discover where you actually want to go. Imagine carrying a backpack on a long hike. At first, adding one extra item doesn't seem like a big deal. Then another, and another. Eventually, the weight becomes exhausting. The strange part is that much of what you're carrying isn't even necessary. Many people live exactly this way. They carry unnecessary expectations, comparisons, regrets, fears, and obligations until they forget what it feels like to move freely. Choosing an intentional life means having the courage to set some of those burdens down. This doesn't mean you should stop being ambitious or stop working toward meaningful goals. Ambition isn't the enemy. The problem begins when your identity becomes dependent on achieving the next milestone. If your happiness always depends on something you don't yet have, you'll spend your entire life postponing joy. But if you learn to appreciate the present while still working toward the future, you gain something incredibly powerful. You stop seeing life as a race and start seeing it as a journey worth experiencing every single day. Think about the people you admire most. Chances are it isn't because they owned the biggest house or had the highest salary. You remember them because of how they treated others, the kindness they showed, the wisdom they shared, the courage they displayed during difficult times, or the peace they seemed to carry wherever they went. Long after achievements are forgotten, character remains. Titles eventually disappear. Wealth changes hands. Awards gather dust. but the impact you leave on other people's lives can continue for generations. Living with intention means defining success for yourself. Instead of borrowing someone else's definition, it means deciding what kind of person you want to become before deciding what you want to own. It means recognizing that every yes you give to one thing is automatically a no to something else. Every hour spent chasing approval is an hour not spent building inner peace. Every unnecessary commitment steals time from what truly matters. Every distraction quietly takes the place of something more meaningful. The beautiful truth is that your life doesn't change the day you achieve everything you've ever wanted. It changes the day you become intentional about the choices you're making right now. Because fulfillment isn't found at the end of the road. It's found in the way you walk it. And once you understand that, you'll stop spending your life chasing a destination and start choosing a direction that feels worth following every single day. Chapter 3. Your time is your greatest wealth. If someone handed you $144,000 every morning with one condition, that whatever you didn't spend by midnight would disappear forever, you would probably pay close attention to every dollar. You would think carefully before wasting any of it, because once the day ended, there would be no getting it back. Now replace those dollars with seconds. Every single day, life gives you 86,400 seconds. Unlike money, you can't save them. You can't invest them for tomorrow. You can't borrow more when you run out. And no matter how rich, powerful, or successful someone becomes, everyone receives exactly the same amount. Time is the one resource that treats every person equally, yet it's often the one we value the least. Most people protect their money more carefully than they protect their time. They'll compare prices to save a few dollars, but spend hours scrolling through content they won't even remember tomorrow. They'll hesitate before making a financial investment, but think nothing of saying yes to commitments they never wanted in the first place. They understand that money can disappear, yet they forget that money can be earned again. Time cannot. Once an hour passes, it becomes part of history. No amount of wealth, intelligence, or influence can buy it back. This is why living with intention begins with recognizing that your calendar reveals your priorities far more honestly than your words ever will. Anyone can say that family is important, that health matters, or that personal growth is a priority. But where does your time actually go? If someone quietly observed your daily routine without listening to anything you said, what conclusions would they reach? Would they see someone building the life they dream about, or someone constantly reacting to distractions? The truth can be uncomfortable, but it's also incredibly freeing, because once you're aware of it, you have the power to change it. One of the greatest myths about time is the belief that we have plenty of it. Young people often think they'll pursue their passions later. Adults convince themselves they'll spend more time with loved ones after work becomes less demanding. Parents assume there will always be another weekend, another vacation, another conversation, but life rarely unfolds according to our schedules. Children grow up faster than we expect. Parents grow older before we notice. Friendships slowly fade when they aren't nurtured. Opportunities quietly pass by while we're busy planning for someday. The future isn't guaranteed. It's simply imagined. The only moment we truly possess is the one unfolding right now. Think back to your childhood. Summers felt endless. Birthdays seemed impossibly far apart. Waiting a single week for something exciting felt like forever. Yet now entire years seem to disappear in what feels like the blink of an eye. This happens because our brains pay more attention to new experiences than repetitive ones. When every day looks the same, our memories blur together, making time feel as though it's racing by. But when we learn something new, travel somewhere unfamiliar, meet interesting people, or fully immerse ourselves in meaningful experiences, our minds create richer memories. In a sense, living intentionally doesn't just improve your life, it makes your life feel longer, because you become fully present for it. Being intentional with your time doesn't mean filling every minute with productivity. In fact, sometimes the most valuable use of time is slowing down, sitting quietly with someone you love, watching a sunset without checking your phone, reading a book that challenges your thinking, taking a long walk with no destination, laughing with friends until you forget what time it is. These moments may seem unproductive by society's standards, but they often become the memories we treasure most. A meaningful life isn't measured by how busy you were. It's measured by how deeply you experienced the moments that mattered. Ask yourself a simple question. If someone gave you one extra year to live, how would you spend it differently? Would you work fewer hours? Call your family more often? Finally start that project you've been postponing. Travel somewhere you've always wanted to see. Learn a new skill. Forgive someone. Spend more evenings watching the sunset instead of watching another episode. If your answer changes dramatically, then perhaps the life you're living today isn't fully aligned with the life you truly want. The purpose of this reflection isn't to make you fear the passing of time. It's to remind you that every sunrise is quietly offering you another chance to choose wisely. Time isn't your enemy. It's your greatest teacher. It constantly whispers the same lesson. What you choose today becomes the life you remember tomorrow. And once you begin treating your hours as the priceless gift they truly are, you'll stop asking how to find more time and start asking how to make the time you already have truly count.